So I think it's right to do a quick overview of the whole process. In the offline data section, we got the province map, province list, and country list. These two are just data arrays or dictionaries or whatever you want to store them as. The province map is interesting because it's a Voronoi diagram where each province represented here has a unique RGB value. So each one is unique, and this is basically how you can click on this province and then you know that you in fact click the province defined from the province list. So you'd print out the name or owner or RGB value and so on. Then in the second section we got once the application started. This means we need to generate this once, more or less. The color map can be updated at runtime. So if I control left click on a country like this and then click again, you can see that I can assign these provinces to this country. Even though they were in other countries, I can reassign them like this. And this requires taking this color map, getting the pixel that is associated with that particular province and changing its color. As an important note, you can see that there is this color, right? This bluish color for the oceans. So I get all the oceans and I assign them to this color. And there is also this yellowish color, I guess. This means that the country is either a wasteland or it is not owned yet by a country. These are gameplay details, I think, so they're not very important. Suffice to know that in my demo you can just replace them with no consequence whatsoever. So if I click on Norway, I can just make that wasteland disappear. Then at the end we got the political map, which is at runtime, and this requires a bit of shader knowledge, as you have to do it in the fragment shader of a plane or whatever geometry you want to render the political map on. Okay, let's get back at the top. The most important bit is that you define where each province needs to be. This is a very low resolution one, but usually it's way higher res than this. And each province has a unique color, which needs to be found in the province list. This is important. If it's not found, then it's not defined. The province list, besides the RGB value, has an ID, a name, and an owner. These fields can have any variables you want, really, but it's important that the owner here, as the color for the province map, the owner is important to match the owner field used in the country list. You know, in the country list you have another RGB value, a name, and the owner. The owner here is a short version of the name, but again, it can be anything you want, really. It can be another number if you want that, or just the full name. So how you're going to create a color map is using the province list and country list. And what you're gonna do is you're going to take each province, right? You're going to use its ID, and using the owner, you are going to get the color of the country that owns that particular province. Then you're going to use modulo and divide to get the X and Y value respectively for the UV coordinates. This is how, for instance, Stockholm is ID 1, right? So if I'm going to use modulo, it's going to give me 1 here, and divided by 256 is going to give me 0, which is this pixel right here. You can also see how it goes for other provinces. So this is not a complete province list, obviously, but imagine that the next one is ID 6. ID 6 means that is going to be right here. I know the first pixel here is left empty. That is because my province list starts with ID 1, not 0. So yeah. That's how it goes. You just store the color of the country that owns that particular province using the converted ID to UV coordinates. And this is how you make the whole color map. Important to note that this color map probably has a lot more pixels that are usually empty if you are going to use 256 by 256. Again, the resolution itself is not important as long as you have enough space for all your provinces. Here I use Europa Universalis 4, so that's around 4,000 provinces, I think. So 256 by 256 is plenty. Anyway, let's go to the color lookup now. The color lookup is the same resolution as the province map, and it has a UV coordinate that matches the color map. So what does this mean is that a province here, let's say this one, has, for instance, let's say coordinate 10, 0. So that would be the 11th pixel on the first row here. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one. Anyway, to get this, you're going to iterate over each pixel of the province map. As I said previously, each value of the pixel here is unique. So you're going for each pixel to get from the province list the ID of that RGB value. So now we see that it's important to have the ID and RGB value for making the color lookup. And you're going to convert it to UV coordinates like we did earlier here. So you use modulo and division by the width of the color map. Again, you use the color map again for the color lookup, not the width of the lookup itself. Okay, once we have both of these two ready, there is only one thing to do, and that is to render our political map. How you do this, the most easy way to do this is to get a plane or a very simple geometry shape in any case, and in the fragment shader you're going to get the UV, and then you're going to read from the color lookup. That color lookup is going to give you another UV coordinate, and that UV coordinate is going to match the color map, and you're going to sample from the color map and get the color unit. So there is another thing to mention here. So we do all this in direction because I think you might wonder, why not just do this political map directly? Well, we don't do that because we're using this indirection with the color lookup, and the color map is way faster to change. So this adapts very well to change. As you know, I showed you earlier with the demo, you can, let me see, I selected Riga, this white spot right here, and now I can expand it, and it's super fast. Why is it super fast? Because when I select this country, I get its owner, and then when I need to change the province itself, the only thing that I need to do is get the ID of the province, right? And then update with the owner's color. So that means that I just need to change one pixel, and then the map changes. And this is it really. I prepared a simple demo scene for this particular project in Godot. If you want to learn more, the link is in the description.